Hey guys, how's it going? And today I want to talk about my opinion on how I liked or disliked clan battles this season and sort of my review on them. To start it off, I have a pretty positive outlook on these clan battles. I like the system that they have in place as per the points. I like to be able to play with a bunch of my friends, get together, kick ass. Or get beaten into submission and yell at each other sometimes, but that comes with the turf, I guess. But overall, I really enjoyed this season. The rewards are good. The ship selection is very good in my opinion. It allows for many different choices, many different lineups, many different strategies. You're not just doing the same thing with the same ships over and over. It's not very campy either, which I'm quite surprised at. The battles will start off kind of campy, but they won't end like that, and I'll explain more on that later. But overall, I found it as just a very fun experience where you can never truly expect what the enemy team is doing, and it really has revamped my interest in the game as per long-term goals and what I actually want to do with my time in the game. Now, before I get too far into this, I want to say I have completed all the way to Typhoon. I'm in Kraken. I've got my Stalingrad flag, so a lot of this is just based on my experience going through. I definitely want to see what some of the clans who are still fighting their way through the leagues below Typhoon think of the rewards and stuff. But for just the overall setup, I really enjoyed this. To start off, I want to talk about the rental ships. I think this was a great idea. They're not as strong as regular ships because they can't mount camo, but they're still pretty useful. You can see that we're actually using a rental Zhao in this battle, and he actually kicks some pretty damn good ass. But I think it's nice because it gets a lot of players engaged as long as they've gotten to, I think, tier 8. So very neat idea there that I definitely didn't see coming. On to rewards. I thought the rewards were extremely good. Lots of flags, lots of camouflages, lots of, what else did they have? They didn't have any modules, which is pretty good because that's more of a ranked thing, I guess, and a lot of people didn't enjoy that. But a lot of flags, a lot of camo, a lot of credits, a lot of free XP, a lot of captain EXP. It was just piling on the rewards, and towards the end of the leagues, I think Storm and higher, you can get doubloons for completing all of the challenges, which is getting a certain number of wins. So I thought that was really cool. And then of course at the end you get one of 3 flags for the Stalingrad, which is a tier 10 cruiser that's going to be coming as a clan reward ship. I almost said tank. But not just that, the earnings in the battles are pretty good. I think the economy is very balanced to allow players to continuously play these battles without having to worry about their credits going into the drain. And I also think the experience system is cool. There's a large bonus to free experience, but during the battles, if you win, you get, I think it's 2,500 base experience. Every person on the team gets this. And then your free experience is based off of that. Plus that goes into your captain and whatnot. So that's really cool that they did that, and it's kind of makes it so you can't say, oh look, I farmed damage the whole battle, you guys all suck. No, you guys all got 2,500 base experience. If you lost, you all got 500. It's pretty cool. And I didn't really check into it. I'm not entirely sure if I lost credits on any of these. Then again, I always run the premium camouflages on my tier 10s. But either way, I found the economy and the rewards to be pretty fitting of a highly I don't want to say highly competitive, but a competitive mode that will get played over and over and over. So I think that's kind of engaging for the community. Ship selection. There's very, very few ships that are not useful in this mode. We ruled out quite a few ships right off the bat. The one ship that you can really say doesn't have a niche or niche in the game, or I guess there's 2. There's Grozavoy, because that's an anti-aircraft destroyer and there's no carriers. And Minotaur. Minotaur is odd. It's kind of like a large destroyer, but it relies so heavily on its smoke in a game that's not going to be campy. and a lot of it's going to be sitting behind islands, and even if you go radar Minotaur, it's too squishy to hold up like a Moskva or Des Moines. So it's kind of weird, and it doesn't have the shell types to set fires and annoy enemy ships. So off the top of my head, that's really the major ship that can't find a use in clan battles. So I'd say the ship selection is pretty good, and going off of that, the strategies that you can apply to every map are endless based on what the enemy team's doing, what you want to do, what you want to focus, whether it's 1 cap, 2 caps, push a flank, push the center. It's just endless, and you can, sure, it's restricted 1 battleship, but I mean, you could just not have any destroyers, you could not have any cruisers if you wanted to. It's really neat that you can do this, and that doesn't have like, oh, you have to have 4 cruisers or you have to have 3 destroyers. You see teams mixing it up constantly, and it just makes the game mode very fun and unique, to the point where you're not entirely sure what you're going to face, and you're not entirely sure what they're going to do, because every team's going to do something different every single battle. And it just made the mode so fun for me, especially early on when I was calling games, where I could go, alright, we're going to go to these positions, sit back and wait to see what the enemy does, because you don't want to leave a ship out to get demolished. But I can't give you guys away all my strategies. But just the fact that you could camp, you could push, and by camp I don't mean sit there the whole battle, because that's probably going to lead to a loss. But the fact that you could change up your strategy so much, and even mid-battle, the fact that it would change, or midday you could change the ships and completely turn the queue on its top, it was just overall impressive to me. And the fact that so many players came back into the game and wanted to play this mode and wanted to be engaged and try out what ships they liked or wanted to try out, I thought it was overall really cool. And I think this is going to bring back a lot of players that were kind of holding off on World of Warships because they didn't have anything to do once they got a tier 10. It sat in their port. Maybe they took it out once in a while when they wanted to be top tier, but they didn't have anything really to do with it, and I'm really glad that they did tier 10 instead of tier 8. Cons, well, let's address the elephant in the room. Like I said in the previous one about clan battles, carriers, they're not here. It really cuts out one of the 4 classes in the games, which really sucks. But it does allow for more dynamic gameplay, I have to admit. And really, there isn't negatives to having no CVs in the state that they're in right now, because it'd be endless 1 carrier spam. Whoever loses the most planes or can't scout as efficiency loses the game. So it wouldn't have really been fun, in my opinion. I think a lot of players would have quit just because their clan didn't have a big CV player that could wreck the enemy team on their own without them having to shoot a single shot. So I think it was kind of a pro and a con. I really am interested to see what Wargaming will do with carriers in this mode, and I'm hoping they do it before we get to the next season. Were there any other cons? There are a few maps that are kind of disbalanced, and since it is season 1, I think we'll see those kind of get changed. Looking at mountain range is one of them. I think south is a little disbalanced for cover, and there are a few other spots that could be changed. But overall, I really like the cap setups. I really like the map selection that they gave us. It's not too many to the point where we're confused on strategies for every single map, and there's just too much of an overload there. It's not too few where you're seeing the same map over and over and over and over and getting bored of it. And the cap layouts are just interesting and changed up and awesome, because every map's different. Some have overlaid caps, some have these triangle patterns, some I think a couple of them are still lines, but the way it's set up and the way they positioned all the caps with islands and cover and spawns really mixes up the mode from random battles, and overall I'm really impressed by this. I definitely do want to see what you guys think about this. I hope a lot of you have tried this mode, and if you haven't, I definitely encourage it because it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't take it super competitively if you don't want to. You can play it for fun, you can play it for rewards, or you could play aiming for that #1 clan rank. Any way you play it, it's going to be fun, in my opinion, because you're playing with friends. You can't really blame each other, or you can't yell at each other, I guess. But overall, I thought this whole mode, the idea of it, was a lot of fun. I'm interested to see what Wargaming does with it in the future, and I'm interested to do a lot more of it, because it, like I said, definitely reinvigorated my interest in the game, and made me grind out the last few tier 10s that I had to get, of which I now own all of them. So, what do you guys think? I'm very interested to hear that. Anyways, good luck out there in all your clan battles, and have a great day, guys.